Hello friends, welcome to this important lecture. Friends, in your legal paper of JIB, many questions over the year have been asked from crossing of checks. This topic is favorite of IIBF, but many students just leave this topic, while others often commit silly mistakes in examination. So in this lecture, I will explain you this concept of crossing of checks in simple and lucid manner. But before starting, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, then do it now since this is the only channel with quality content. Also join my Facebook group where I post lots of one-pagers and other useful stuff with respect to your examination. Lastly, join my premium Telegram group free of cost. There also I post many one-pagers, PDFs and practice questions. All the links are there in description to this video, so do join after you finish this lecture. So let's start with today's session. Friends, before knowing types of crossing, you must be clear about what crossing of check means. So, crossing of a check is basically a direction to a particular banker by the drawer that payment should not be made across the counter, rather payment can be collected only through a banker. Friends, here please note drawer means the person who makes the check. Now, crossing can be implemented simply by drawing two parallel traverse lines. Let's understand this with the help of a layman explanation. So if you are a customer of HDFC Bank and you write a check in favor of Raghunath S like this with two parallel lines, then friends, here you are the drawer while HDFC Bank is the drawee. And drawing these two parallel lines simply means that now Raghunath S can't take this amount over the counter, that is in cash. The bank has to deposit this amount into his account and that too with the name of Raghunath S. Friends, hope by now things are getting clear. Now the main objective of crossing is basically to trace the person who receives the payment and hence ensuring safety of check. If the check is made open, that is without crossing, then any person could have taken the cash. And this Mr. Raghunath S could have said that he didn't receive any amount. Now after crossing the check and amount crediting directly to Mr. Raghunath's account, he can nowhere allege that he didn't receive the amount. Now friends, before moving ahead, don't forget to get your JIB resources. These first three are 1000 series question banks of principal, accounting and legal paper. All these question banks comes with high quality and selected questions and case studies. Then this fourth one is secret sauce book, which is in fact summarized notes of all the three papers. And this last book is banking case studies and rationale. This contains 400 plus case studies with detailed explanations which are very important for your principal and legal paper. Lastly friends, always get updated edition, since these are updated by me after every 6 months, that is after examinations. All the links are there in description to this video, so don't miss to get these after you finish this lecture. Let's move forward with our lecture. So friends, there are 4 types of crossing that you will generally come across. So first one is general crossing. Friends, this crossing is defined in section 123 of Negotiable Instruments Act. So when a check bears across its face two parallel traverse lines, then this check is said to be generally crossed. Next friends, you can also see the words and company, account payee or not negotiable between parallel lines, then these also constitute general crossing. So friends, the effect of this general crossing is that the check is payable to any banker only and not over the counter, that is in cash by the paying banker. Friends, I hope general crossing is clear to you. The next type of crossing is special crossing. Now friends, special crossing is defined under section 124 of Negotiable Instruments Act. So in special crossing, the customer will also write the name of banker between the parallel lines. This simply means that the paying banker will pay the amount of the check only to the banker whose name is written in the crossing. Most commonly, you will see special crossing like these. So in the first case, the paying banker will honor the check only if it's presented by Kerala Grameen Bank. Then in second case, the check will be honored only if it's presented by Tripura Grameen Bank. So as you can see, the only difference between general and special crossing is that of the name of the bank written between the parallel lines. Also note that specially crossed checks are more safer than the generally crossed checks. The next type of crossing is restrictive or account pay crossing. Friends, please note this second crossing which we saw in general crossing has a special name and is known as restrictive crossing or account pay crossing. So when a check crossed generally or specially contains the words account pay only, then this type of crossing is also known as restrictive crossing. Restrictive crossing in fact gives direction to the paying banker that proceeds of the check will be deposited only in the account of payee whose name is mentioned in the check. And finally, last type of crossing is not negotiable crossing. Friends, when the words not negotiable are written between the crossing in case of general or special crossing, then this is classified under special category, that is not negotiable crossing. So when a check crossed generally or specially contains the words not negotiable on the face of the check, then such a check loses its special characteristics of negotiability. In other words, such an instrument cannot give to the transferee or the holder a better title than that of the transferor or the person from whom the transferee received it. Thus, for a common man, not negotiable crossing is simply a warning to verify and ensure the credentials of the transferor of the check before receiving such check. Because if in case the title of the transferor is defective, then the transferee also gets the defective title. Next, friends, proceeds of insurance policies are paid through checks with not negotiable crossing. So friends, with this I hope the types of crossing is clear to you. Next, let's do some questions and case studies before winding up this lecture. And the first question is, you are working in the clearing department of HDFC Bank. You received this check from Punjab and Sindh Bank. Will you honor this check? And these options are given to you. First option is yes, I have checked signature, balance, date, account number, accounts in figures, all are okay. Then second option is yes, I received CTS check, hence no issues in honoring. Then third option is no, this is specially cross check, I won't honor this check. And last option D is no, crossing is not correct. Now friends, when you carefully notice this check, you will realize that it's a specially cross check. And in between crossing, it's written Bank of India. So you can only honor this check if received from Bank of India. But as said in question, this check is presented by Punjab and Sindh Bank. So you can't honor this check. Thus, the correct answer for the given question is option C. The next case study is, Ms. Geeta issued following check to Mr. Shrikant. Mr. Shrikant presented the check in his bank, that is Bank of Baroda. But due to clerical error, the amount was credited to wrong account. Which bank is guilty for negligence as per Negotiable Instruments Act? And these options are given to you. First option is HDFC Bank, that is paying banker, and Bank of Baroda, that is collecting banker, are equally liable irrespective of fault committed by either HDFC or Bank of Baroda. Then second option is only HDFC Bank is liable. As per section 131 of Negotiable Instruments Act, paying banker is responsible for non-credit of amount in correct account. Then third option C is only Bank of Baroda is liable. As per section 131 of Negotiable Instruments Act, the collecting banker is responsible for non-credit of amount to the correct account. And lastly, option D is none of the bank is liable as amount is credited in good faith. Now friends, as you can see, this is a restrictive check crossing, which means that it directs the collecting banker to credit the amount of the check only to the account of payee. But here please note, if the collecting banker credits the proceeds of the check to any other account, then he is fully guilty of negligence. Also note, he will not be eligible for protection under section 131 of Negotiable Instruments Act. But here also remember that this crossing has no effect on the paying banker. And this is because it's not the duty of paying banker to determine that the check is collected for the account of payee and to whose account it is being credited. Thus, the correct option for the given case study is option C. Next, let's see a detailed case study to make the concept absolutely clear to you. A check is drawn upon Bank of India. It is stolen by X, who hands it over to Y, who takes it in good faith for valuable consideration. Y deposits the check into his own account in Tamil Nadu Grama Bank, who presents it and obtains payment from Bank of India. Discuss the legal position of paying banker, collecting banker, Y, and true owner in each of the following cases. Now these 6 cases are given to you. So friends, let's discuss the legal position in each of these cases one by one. First one is if the check is payable to bearer. Now friends, in this case, the paying banker is discharged since the payment is made in due course. Then collecting banker also does not incur any liability to the true owner of the check. Then Y also is not liable to the true owner of the check. And lastly, true owner can absolutely recover the amount from X but not Y. Then second case is if the check is payable to bearer and is crossed generally. Friends, in this case, the paying banker is discharged since the payment is made in due course. Then collecting banker also does not incur any liability to the true owner of the check. Then Y also is not liable to the true owner of the check. And lastly, true owner can absolutely recover the amount from X but not Y. Then third case is if the check is payable to bearer and is crossed journally with the words not negotiable. Friends, here the paying banker is discharged since the payment is made in due course. Then collecting banker also does not incur any liability to the true owner of the check. But since the check is crossed journally with the words not negotiable, so Y is liable to the true owner since he got a defective title. Please note Y is not a holder in due course because the title of the check is faulty as the check was stolen. The person who transferred the check to him was not the real owner of the check. Hence his title is defective and he is liable to the true owner. Lastly, true owner of the check can recover from both Y and X. So friends, as you can see here, what are the advantages of making the check not negotiable? In this case, the true owner of the check can recover from both Y and X. Then fourth case is if the check is payable to bearer and is crossed specially with the words Tamil Nadu Grama Bank. Friends, here the paying banker is discharged since the payment is made in due course. Then collecting banker also does not incur any liability to the true owner of the check. Then Y also is not liable to the true owner of the check. And lastly, true owner of the check can recover from X only. Then fifth case is if the check is payable to bearer and is crossed specially with the words Tripura Grama Bank. Friends, this is a very good case. Here please note the crossing says Tripura Gramin Bank. So this makes the paying banker liable to the true owner of the check. Now can you answer why? Yes friends, Bank of India was supposed to pay the check to Tripura Gramin Bank, but instead it paid to Tamil Nadu Grama Bank. So paying banker is liable here. Then collecting banker is also liable. Now can you tell why? Because it clearly sees that he is not authorized to collect the payment for this check, but still it presents the check. This makes Tamil Nadu Grama Bank also liable to the true owner. Then Y is not liable to the true owner. And lastly, true owner can recover the check from X or paying banker or collecting banker. And the last case of this case study is if the drawer's signature were forged. Now friends, in this case, the paying banker is liable to the true owner because the payment made is not in due course. Then the collecting banker is also liable to the true owner since signature is forged. Next, Y is liable to the true owner because forgery does not pass any valid title. And lastly, the true owner can recover from paying banker, collecting banker or X or Y. So friends, I hope this very important case study is clear to you. So with this, I wind up this lecture. Don't forget to get your GIB resources from the links provided in description to this lecture. So thank you and I will meet you again in another lecture.